What do you think is the most optimized way to kind of approach jiu-jitsu if you want to get really, really good or even want to like compete at a high level?
I think it's addressing the bad parts of your game, right? Like you learn a new choke. It's super cool and it's super fun and you want to try it and you get it. It's the best feeling in the world. Not the best feeling in the world just because you got out of mount. Because in everyone's head, I'm still mounted. My guard sucks. It just got passed. They're not thinking the same positive spin behind escaping mount as they are executing a cool choke. But if you can highlight those areas, I think it'll help them appreciate the growth process and be able to kind of put themselves in that mindset that every day I'm going to get a little bit better, even if it's not in the areas that I intend to or it's the most fun. But if you can't get out of mount and in one training session you escape 3 times on people who normally were finishing you, that's just as big of a win, if not a bigger win, than you hitting a cool new choke on someone who maybe was a little bit newer than you or less experienced, right? So the emphasis on those things is tough to kind of get behind.
I would imagine that's what makes people stick around because, like, say if their friend kind of tells them, oh yeah, this is how jiu-jitsu is, it's so cool, you get to armbar, and then when they actually go in there, at least in your program, right, what you just said, it's almost like, whoa, hold on. That's not really kind of how it is most of the time. It's about getting out of arm bars, which is pretty cool because I think like doing a hitchhiker is just smooth as fuck when you get when you were able to pull it off. But I think that's when people like probably make it or break it, when they realize that it's like, oh, it's not just like, let me rear naked choke someone. Yeah,
it's almost like wanting to play basketball and immediately wanting to slam dunk. Or you're only playing baseball because of the home runs. Right? Like there's so many other little things that we have to get good at and develop before those come. And in the long run, you will start doing those things if that's the goal. But it can't be the reason why you're playing, right? The reason we play the game, first and foremost, and I think is the most important thing that people lose sight of and maybe not even think of, is surviving a fight.
Yes.
Right? A small guy like us getting attacked or having to fight or defend ourselves or protect our family against someone 2 or 3 times our size. The first goal should be to survive, not get beat up, manage distance properly, keep our guard, keep our limbs between us, have solid frames if we do end up in a bad spot. Those are the most important things. And then everything after that is secondary.
So that's like pretty much practicality. That's the way you think about jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Like you're always, say if you're rolling with someone, say like your brother, you're always like, oh, well, if he has me in this position and starts like punching me, then he could really fuck me up. And that's how you base your game off him?
Yes.
Kind of like, oh, I got to frame off this guy and get him the fuck away from me.
For sure. I approach jiu-jitsu as first and foremost a martial art. Right? And second would be for the sport of it and the love of it and whatever else. But it's first and foremost a fighting art. And a lot of people, they want to play the game. It's like they want to go to a boxing gym but not get punched. They want to do all the punching. They don't want to get hit though. But they want to say they're a boxer. They want to train boxing. They want to hit people. They don't want to deal with the other side of that. Jiu-jitsu, like as playful as it can be, as gentle as it can be, first and foremost, it's a way to protect ourselves. And to me, what stood out to me was a smaller guy or girl being able to do it against a much larger opponent. Every other martial wrestling, there's weight classes, and they don't go outside of it. There's no super fights where a guy my size is wrestling a heavyweight. Muay Thai, there's weight classes for reason, boxing, name it. But jiu-jitsu, a smaller guy is capable of defeating or at least defending themselves against a bigger opponent. And that's what drew me to it, obviously being a smaller guy.
Right.
So I feel like, and you guys hear me constantly, you never hear me talking about competitors or hobbyists or someone who trains twice a week. I don't have categories for what I wouldn't say allow, but encourage people to train under. Everyone trains the same. We're all going to train jiu-jitsu for what it is, because if you're a hobbyist blue belt who trains twice a week, or you're a competitive purple belt who has won a bunch of medals, you're both going to train the same way. That way, God forbid, if you have to defend yourself, one of Jerry's students didn't get beat up by some raged out person who has no training. Like everyone's going to train the same exact way. So we're all benefiting the same way. And then the paths you take to get better is up to you. Competing's one of them. It's a small path. I think people overemphasize what competing does for you. It's a great way to fill holes and find holes in your game, but it's a path you can take. That doesn't mean you're going to be, it's going to guarantee you a black belt. And it doesn't mean the person who doesn't compete isn't going to eventually become a black belt. We're all going to train the same exact way though, you know? And it's for that purpose of being a martial art.
Speaking of which, like as far as competition and being like a hobbyist, I've never been a competitor, but can you explain to me like what you do find as far as maybe like your epiphanies on what you learn about yourself when you're competing? I know it's more, you know, obviously aggressive. You're trying to like literally, I mean, you know, fuck the practice rule. Like you're at competition, so you're going fucking ham. What do you learn about the most? Is it the pacing? Is it like, oh, you have to turn it up like tenfold now? Like what is it between being at the actual gym and competition, the biggest difference that you've seen and changed about your game?
That's a great question. I think technically speaking, when we're in the gym, when me and you're rolling, we're boys. We have no ego with each other. You catch me, I catch you. We say, damn it, slap hands, keep rolling. But like, we're not thinking too much about what we're doing. On top of that, we're willing to mess up because of it. I'm willing to mess up because I know you're not going to talk crap afterwards, and our girls aren't watching and they're going to talk crap. And so nothing's on the line. So you're willing to make mistakes. By doing that, you don't know really how detrimental those mistakes could be to your game. So when you go to compete, you're almost going to do what feels most natural. You're going to go to your default mode and you're going to do that. So you may do something in competition you never do in the gym because it was second nature to you. It was instinctual to do that. And that's why it's so important to train purposefully in the gym, because what you need to do, like you hear me constantly, they'll drill a couple times and then they'll stop drilling. Yeah. It takes 10,000 reps, they say, right? Yeah. To master something. Like you want to get as many reps as you can so that it's second nature, because when you go to compete, you're going to only do the things that are second nature to you. If you have to think about it, if you've only drilled it a couple times, you haven't actually hit it on someone at your level in the training room, you're definitely not going to do it in the competition. So it's a good way to expose what your default mode is. Yes. And then you need to build on that and take that back to the gym. So that's why it's so beneficial to compete. And then the other things that I think are really important to learn about, that you get to learn in competition, is just about yourself. You know, how much you care about what other people think, how much you care about losing or win, how much ego do you really have? How do you rationalize it? Maybe it's a human across the board thought to be scared and not want to be embarrassed. What do you do with that? How do you compartmentalize that right before you go out there? Can you distribute that in your mind properly to where you go, okay, yeah, I don't want to look stupid, but focus on what I need to focus on, and let's win these little battles so that I can win the war. Can you do that, or do you freak out and panic and then freeze up in competition? Right. Not to win, but also not to lose. Like, so you just get to learn a lot about yourself and how your mind works and how you deal with adversity and how you deal with fear and how you deal with all these negative thoughts that are naturally running through our head. So you just get to learn a lot about yourself.